Imagine a time when gods walked among men, when cities reached for the heavens, and monuments were built to defy time itself. Long before modern skyscrapers, ancient civilizations crafted wonders so grand, they became legends. But here's the twist. Of the 7 greatest monuments of the ancient world, only one still stands today. What happened to the rest? This is the story of awe, mystery, destruction, and brilliance. The Great Pyramid of Giza, a monument that has stood for more than 4,500 years. Built for Pharaoh Khufu, it is the only one of the 7 wonders still standing today. Originally rising 146 meters into the sky, it was the tallest man-made structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. Made from over 2 million limestone blocks, each weighing up to 15 tons, its construction remains one of history's greatest mysteries. No modern machines, no cranes, just human hands, primitive tools, and incredible precision. Inside, narrow passages lead to hidden chambers, some still unexplored. The pyramid's perfect alignment with the stars, its mathematical accuracy, and its sheer scale continue to amaze engineers and historians alike. Even today, as the sun sets over the Egyptian desert, the Great Pyramid reminds us some wonders are truly timeless. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the most mysterious of the 7 wonders. According to ancient texts, they rose high above the ground, tiered terraces overflowing with flowers, fruit trees, and waterfalls. Built in the heart of the desert, they were said to be a gift from King Nebuchadnezzar II to his queen, who missed the green hills of her homeland. Stone columns supported garden levels, and water was lifted by ingenious irrigation systems centuries before modern engineering. Palm trees swayed in the breeze. Vines curled over marble railings. The scent of jasmine and fig filled the air. But here's the mystery. No physical trace of the gardens has ever been found. Were they real? Were they built in Babylon? Or perhaps elsewhere? Some historians believe they never existed at all, a poetic vision passed down through stories. Yet whether real or imagined, the Hanging Gardens continue to inspire awe, reminding us of humanity's eternal dream, to build paradise, even in the sand. The statue of Zeus at Olympia. Towering over temple visitors at nearly 12 meters high, this magnificent figure of the king of the gods was one of the most awe-inspiring sights in the ancient world. Sculpted by the master Phidias in the 5th century before Christ, Zeus sat upon an ornate throne crafted from gold, ivory, ebony, and precious stones. In his right hand, a figure of Nike, the goddess of victory. In his left, a scepter topped with an eagle, symbol of power. His face was calm, almost gentle, but his presence filled the room with divine majesty. The temple was built not just to honor Zeus, but to house this colossal image, a god brought to life through art. For nearly 800 years, pilgrims came to witness it. But in time, the statue was lost, destroyed or taken far from its home. Today, only descriptions remain, and yet in every line written by those who saw it, one thing is clear: it was unforgettable. The Temple of Artemis at Ephesus. Once considered the most beautiful building in the world. Built in what is now Western Turkey, it was a masterpiece of Greek architecture, dedicated to Artemis, goddess of the hunt, the moon, and fertility. The temple stood over 120 meters long, with more than 120 marble columns rising 18 meters high. Each was carved with incredible detail. It was not only a place of worship, but also a treasury, a marketplace, and a symbol of wealth and power. Inside stood a grand statue of Artemis, adorned with symbols of nature and life. Over time, the temple was destroyed and rebuilt more than once, burned by arson, toppled by war, shattered by earthquakes. Yet each time it returned even grander than before. Pilgrims traveled from across the ancient world just to see it. Even Alexander the Great offered to help rebuild it. Today, only a single column remains. But in its time, the Temple of Artemis wasn't just a wonder of architecture. It was a wonder of faith, art, and human ambition. The mausoleum at Halicarnassus. A tomb so grand it gave birth to the very word mausoleum. Built in the 4th century before Christ in what is now Bodrum, Turkey, it was the final resting place of King Mausolus, a Persian satrap, and his wife and sister, Artemisia. Rising nearly 45 meters high, the structure combined Greek, Egyptian, and Lycian styles. Its base was stepped like a pyramid, its roof crowned with a marble chariot statue drawn by 4 horses. Dozens of intricately carved friezes and sculptures decorated the exterior, each telling stories of gods, battles, and ancient myths. After Mausolus died, Queen Artemisia oversaw its completion, pouring her grief into a structure meant to last forever. For centuries it stood as a symbol of love, power, and artistic mastery, but earthquakes eventually brought it to ruins. Its stones were reused, scattered, lost. Today, only a few fragments survive. Yet in its time, the mausoleum at Halicarnassus was not just a tomb. It was a statement. Even in death, greatness endures. The Colossus of Rhodes. A towering bronze statue of the sun god Helios, built to celebrate a city's victory over invaders. Standing over 30 meters tall, it watched over the harbor of Rhodes, its face turned toward the rising sun. Some say ships sailed between its legs, but historians believe it stood beside the harbor, not across it. Constructed in the 3rd century before Christ, it took 12 years to complete. Forged from iron and bronze, filled with stone for support. For just 56 years it stood, until an earthquake brought it down. Its broken pieces lay for centuries, too sacred to remove. Today, the Colossus is gone, but in memory it still stands, a symbol of strength, pride, and the light that guided a nation. The Lighthouse of Alexandria, also known as the Pharos of Alexandria, a beacon of light at the edge of the ancient world. Built on the island of Pharos in the 3rd century before Christ, it guided sailors safely into the great harbor of Alexandria. Rising over 100 meters tall, it was one of the tallest man-made structures for centuries. Its fire burned day and night, reflected by polished bronze mirrors visible for miles across the sea. Engineered with precision, it stood through centuries of storms and time, but eventually earthquakes reduced it to rubble. Today, its remains lie beneath the waves. Still, the lighthouse lives on, in maps, in legends, and in every symbol that shines to guide the way, a wonder of science, light, and vision. They were built by visionaries, worshipped by empires, and remembered by generations. The 7 wonders of the ancient world remind us that greatness doesn't always survive the test of time, but stories do. Which of these wonders would you visit if you could travel back in time? Tell us in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey through the ancient world, hit subscribe and let's uncover history's greatest secrets, one video at a time.